Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of On Point for today, Friday, the 30th day of May 2025. And oh my, we are at the end of another month, and just like that, we are almost into June, which is going to be on Sunday, and we'll speak more about the 1st of June. But welcome once again, and as always, at the start of the show, I always, connect and greet all of the persons who are with us, starting with the folks who are listening here on Nevis, all 5 parishes. Good afternoon and welcome to this show. My name is Alexis Jeffers, of course, and I'm always here on a Friday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. when I spend my lunch hour with you, and it's always a pleasure. And from time to time, I will have a guest with me. This afternoon, I do have a guest, but I'm not going to get to her, and that is somewhat of letting you know who not the person is, but of course it's a female, so I'll get to her shortly, and then we'll develop a discussion from there on. I also want at this time to greet the folks down in St. Kitts who are with us. We do have a large following down there in St. Kitts, and some will say up there. It has been a debate in recent times whether it's up or down, but we like to say down there in St. Kitts. And of course the folks in Statia, St. Bart's, French and Dutch St. Martin, in the British and U.S. Virgin Islands, of course Puerto Rico, and we do have a large following throughout the United States, from the East Coast to the Midwest and all the way over to the western flank of the United States, and indeed up in Canada. You have persons in Toronto, Montreal, Ontario, all of those places. Saskatchewan, we have persons living there as well, far away from us, but they're there. And of course up in Europe, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Denmark, wherever you are in Europe, I know we do have citizens who are there, either living or vacationing or going to school, for that, whatever the case might be for that matter. And then of course you go into Asia, but more specifically the Republic of China, Taiwan. I always like to greet all folks over there in Taiwan. It is morning there now, just after 1 in the morning on a Saturday morning, that is, and I say good morning. If you would have stayed up to listen to this show or to stay in touch with what is happening here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, I say good morning to you. So I've covered pretty much the entire globe, because we have citizens all over the globe, and I just want to greet everyone. So coming back home, it is always good to come, and we have a format that we normally would follow, and at this time I just want to use the opportunity to express my sympathies to all those who are in the bereaved column. There are a few families that are bereaved at this time, and we want to join with you and understand what you're going through at this time. I do not say we know what you're going through, because you would never know. All I can say is that we understand the challenges and difficulties that you're facing at this time. But specifically at this time, I want to express sympathies to the family of Mrs. Valerie Brown from Jessops. I learned just recently of her passing. She was, having some medical challenges for some time, but she passed away last Saturday, and so I want to express my sympathies, and those of us here at Von Radio, to the surviving family. I want to reach out to her husband Louis over there in Jessops. Yeah, he's still there with us, and indeed, those of you who are not familiar with Valerie, she was, up until her passing, a senior security officer there at NASPA, and she was specifically over at the Van Samry International Airport. That's where she would have worked until her passing, so to speak. And I want to just express our profound sympathies to the entire family of Valerie Brown. Indeed, Jessup sort of lost 2 persons in recent times. Last week we spoke about Tapone, and now we're talking about Valerie. But as I always say, life is a cycle. You're born, you live, you die, and of course the final cycle is what we are always, it's always difficult to embrace. That's the most I can say. It's always the most difficult part of the whole cycle to embrace, because it is so final. Yeah. That being said, may your soul rest in peace, and all those who have departed this life in recent times, may they also rest in eternal peace. I always say as well, where there is disappointment, there's grieving, there's death, there's also someone out there, or some persons out there who are celebrating some sort of achievement or accomplishment, celebrating a birthday, celebrating an anniversary, a milestone of some sort. I want to say, well, best wishes to you. And of course, this afternoon, I want to greet Monique Daniel up there at Cedarview Housing Development. She is celebrating a birthday today, and happy birthday to you, Monique. Have fun today, and as I always say, celebrate as if it's the last, but we wish you many more. And if you have $1, spend 50 cents on yourself. If you have $20, spend $10 on yourself. Once you have strength, you'll always be able to work and replenish that and continue to live your life and have a wonderful time throughout your journey. Yesterday, though, was my good friend there in Boston, what's his name now? Washi. And I won't forget his name, his correct name this time around. I think I forgot his correct name last year. First name is Byron. Brown is his last name. Sorry, but I know him as Washi for many years now, and he preferred to be called Washi. Some people like to be called by their nickname. Just like myself too, I don't mind. So Washi had a birthday yesterday. Happy belated birthday, Washi. And hopefully you had a wonderful day. But continue to enjoy the rest of the month. And also tomorrow is my good friend up there in New York. Her birthday, Sheena Maynard. Those of you from Brick Hill area would know Sheena. She's celebrating tomorrow. So Sheena, if you're listening, and I hope my voice will bring some joy to you for your birthday, happy birthday tomorrow when it comes, and I pray that the Lord will provide you with many more years of celebration as well. Earlier this week we had Mrs. Janice Perkins over there in Newcastle. She was celebrating her birthday earlier this week on the 27th, I believe it was. And of course my good friend down there in Jones Estate, Evan Nisbet. I wrote these down because I really want to express these greetings publicly, because it feels good. It feels good saying it, and I'm sure those who are hearing it equally feel just as good hearing their names being called for these special occasions. Okay, so all those who are celebrating as well, continue to have a wonderful time. And if you are celebrating over the weekend, do likewise, because of course some persons are celebrating on Sunday and so forth. Okay, let's move on from there. Of course, Sunday is the start of the hurricane, or the Atlantic hurricane season, and it goes from the 1st of June all the way down to the 30th of November. And indeed we know that September is the peak of the hurricane season, but from what I am seeing and from what I'm reading, that there is a 60% chance of an above average hurricane season this year. So that in and of itself is a story for us to look at, meaning we have to be cognizant of these facts. It only takes one hurricane for there to be any major damage here or in our neighboring islands. And so we are praying and hoping that the tranquil weather that we're having outside, that we'll have that throughout this hurricane season. It is beautiful outside. We had some rain earlier this morning, yes, but right now the sun is out in all its glory. Typical Nivision weather, and typical weather for those in the United States or in Europe. If you're looking for somewhere to come to at this time of the year, you can come. Very nice here. But they're saying that it will be a 60% chance of an above average hurricane season with 13 to 19 named storms. And of those 13 to 19 named storms, it is expected, or the possibility exists, whereby 10 of those can become major hurricanes. And of those 10, 3 to 5 can become hurricanes of maybe category 3, category 4, or category 5, which are winds of 111 miles per hour or more. So all of these information are important to our daily guidance and living. We cannot ignore these things. Those who are here in these parts and live here, we know how challenging it can be when you have a hurricane, even a tropical storm. But those of us who live here normally go through certain protocols every year in terms of preparation, getting our insurance in order, getting our houses in order, getting our surroundings in terms of trees and shrubs and so forth, having them cut, and ensuring that nothing can fall on your house and that type of thing. So we know the drill, we know what we normally would do, and we follow all of the protocols, including listening to Von Radio 860 AM and 93.7 FM and all of these social media platforms, especially when information comes from the Nevis Disaster Management Office. They are the authority, and once you get information from them, be guided accordingly. So I go through this from time to time because it is important, and it is something that we cannot disregard. We must pay attention to what is happening around us. Same way in the United States, you have things like tornadoes and blizzards and so forth. The warnings are put out and persons adhere accordingly. If we don't, chances of losing property and perhaps lives, these things become possible, and we don't want that to happen. So let us be guided accordingly. Okay, just by way of information quickly, there is an activity going on down there at the Bath Springs. It is the Ministry of Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Health are collaborating on a wellness fair, they call it, I believe, where the theme is Love Your Health. Of course, they'll be having massage therapy, health screening, as well as health wellness tips will be given. Plus they're selling craft and different items down there. Music is down there, various entertainment, and I think they're cooking fish water and ital and all kind of things down there. Listen, I was there earlier for breakfast, and I intend to go back when I'm done, because from what I saw there, it is something to attend. Some persons are working now. I believe after work you'll have some time to go there. And of course, there are quite a number of things happening on the island this weekend, including just next door at the Villa. The Charleston Secondary School is having a fair there as well, in commemoration of their 75th anniversary. I went to Charleston for just 2 years. My alma mater is Gingerland High School, but I'll pass by and see what is going on there at the Villa with that activity that the Charleston Secondary School is putting on there as well. So in that general area, you have two activities at the Bath Hot Springs and also at the Villa grounds. But tomorrow, the Department of Community Development is having a Nevis Heritage Festival 2025. I think this is the second edition. And what that is, those persons who are living here among us from the various islands and countries in the Caribbean will be putting on display their cultural wear, cultural song, cultural dance, cultural food, things that are consistent with or a part of their culture from where they would have come from, whether Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad, St. Vincent, Dominica, wherever in the Caribbean these nationals are from who live among us. They're putting on their display down there at the Malcolm Gishard Park tomorrow, all day. It should be a fun day, and I'm asking persons to go out and support. I'm going to go and see if I can get some food from some other country, see if it matches ours or matches up to what we normally would produce here on the island of Nevis, because I think we have the best. Yeah, and that whoever want to contradict can contradict me, but I say we have the best, and everyone will say theirs is the best also. So we'll have some excellent food down there if everyone produces the best. Okay, good. Let's move on quickly because I want to get to my guest shortly. Last week I spoke of our medical fundraiser. The Butlers and Brick Hill communities are putting on, as usual, for the last, I believe, 4 years. We've been putting on this event. So this year we're putting on our medical fundraiser again on Whit Monday, that is the 9th of June, over there in Brick Hill, right on the Brooklyn Main Road, next to the Brooklyn Church of God. Can't miss it, because you'll drive over and right there on the main road you'll see the booth, you'll hear the music, and you'll see food being sold. And I want to invite one and all to come over. We have breakfast starting at 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then from 10 a.m. to 12 noon that will be brunch. So, brunch is between lunch and breakfast. That's why they call it brunch. And then we'll have lunch at 12 noon, and of course at 4 p.m. will be dinner. Dinner will be sold. I almost said dinner will be served, but it will be served to you for a price. Yeah? So, come on over and patronize this event. We've done an excellent job over the years, and I'm not going to start calling names this afternoon because the Friday after the event, I'll spend the entire program, God's willing, to name everyone who would have contributed, every entity and every person, and thank them for their contributions. But we've had quite a number of persons coming on board this week, and if you have any contributions that you want to make, you can call Amai Nisbet at 664-1912, or you can call myself, Alexis Jeffers, at 662-5007. And certainly, as of yesterday afternoon, I can say to you that we would have engaged the Grandmasters Band to play later on in the evening of June 9th, that is with Monday. So we have Frank and the boys, Snowflakes and the boys. We have Lalbo, DJ Lalbo, we have DJ Zimba, we have Itebulous, we have Speedy, and we have the Sugar Hill String Band, and other entertainment will be there as well. But those are what we have for now, along with the Grandmasters Band. So there will be entertainment throughout the entire day, and of course that is what is needed to have persons stay there. We'll have dominoes as well, and we're praying for good weather so we can raise a good amount of funds. We have already identified the persons who will be the recipient of the monies that we're going to be raising over there. And indeed, over the years, as I said last week, we would have raised in excess of $44,000 over the last couple of years, 2022, 2023, 2024, last 3 years. So this is 4 years now. So we've done a wonderful job, and we want to thank everyone who would have contributed over the years and who continue to contribute their time, their effort, their energies, and materials as well towards these worthy cause. So that is for June 9th with Monday. So we are looking forward to that, and we are already planning, putting things in place, and we're getting there. Okay, so it's now what, just about 20 minutes past 1 o'clock. So it took me 20 minutes to get to my guest. So once again, as I said from the get-go, I have with me a lady here who I call her my cousin. She's my very good friend too, and someone who I love dearly in every way. Yeah, and I want to say welcome to the microphones and of On Radio, and also to On Point. She's none other than Monique Washington. Monique, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jeffers, and good afternoon to the listening public. And once again, my name is Monique Washington. I am the owner and the creative director of the Kemoni brand, which is a skincare brand out of Nevis. Some persons might know me as a tour guide, a calypsonian, a poet, and most recently I am a caregiver for my mom at home.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So you actually laid out the somewhat the pathway to our discussion in terms of what you're involved in. But let's start from the top. Monique, it didn't get into all this overnight. You've had your challenges, of course. You've had your struggles and all that. We'll get into all that. But before you got into, or before you became an entrepreneur, for example, what were you before? What did you do before?
So right before that, I was, of course, a reporter for a media house, which is not Von Radio, here on the island of Nevis. And I did that on and off for 10 years before I decided that, I kind of had enough.
Okay.
And I left. So most persons will know me wearing that hat as a reporter here on the island of Nevis for a while.
Right. So you will say the words that describe you as a person. You're persistent. You're persevering.
I'm outgoing.
Outgoing.
I was blessed with the gift of gab because sometimes I can't hush.
Okay.
I like talk. I'm patient. What else?
Determined.
Determined.
Tenacious.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I wouldn't throw a word into the mix that didn't apply to you.
Yeah? Creative. So yeah.
So all that encompasses the person that we're talking to, Monique, and of course you have, in my opinion, and that is why I brought you here, because I love to talk to people who would have been through the storms, and indeed who don't necessarily come up with excuses as to why. But in terms of whatever happens, they find a way, either through, around, above, or under. However you get around those obstacles, you have done so. So let us look at, we can start with, we'll get to the entertainment side of it, but let's start with the Key Money brand. Yeah? How did you stumble upon this, or what brought you to the point where you established such?
Okay, so I am one person that enjoys attending the Agriculture Open Day Fair.
Right.
And in one instance, I buy trees every single year. And one year I end up buying a cherry tree. And I end up giving away the cherry tree because I'm not blessed with a green thumb. Everything I touch dies, so I actually gave away this cherry tree. And the year after, actually in October, that tree brought many fruit. You can't eat all, you can't make drinks. And I was like, well, let's try something. Let's see if we can make a soap. And that is where the idea came from. A tree that was bought from the Agriculture Open Day Fair that produced so much fruit that you couldn't find nothing else to do with it. You can't make so much jam, juice, or anything. So I decided to make a soap. And that was about 8 years ago. And from there is where I was like, you know what, we can try different things. And I focus mostly on things found on the island of Nevis. So things like turmeric and ginger and cucumber and tomato and all these different things. That is what I started with, and that is what I'm still doing now. Of course, I have moved away from the cherry and the cherry tree. I'm not even sure if the cherry tree is still alive. I haven't asked the question in a while. But that is where it started from, with a hand-in-hand unity with agriculture here on Nevis, and being creative in making something else other than edible stuff when it comes to agriculture and what we can get from agriculture.
Okay, so pretty much we talk about agriculture products, and you can take them and sell them in terms of for consumption, as you rightfully said. But of course, you can go beyond that. You hear about agro-processing and so forth.
Correct.
And you have taken it one step further. And you can make more in terms of, I don't want to get into dollars and cents, but you can certainly make more if you were to say, take the cherries that you were talking about and sell them per pound. Probably get $3 per pound. But if you use, the byproduct of cherry and turn it into soap, you can make more.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're now into the soap making, let's call it skincare.
Correct.
And we call it natural skincare products. Correct. You're making, right? And I will say this to you and let the audience know that since I was introduced to your products, and I say that boldly and clearly, that I don't buy overseas or imported soap or body wash anymore. I use your products. So if my skin look healthy and glowing here,
it's because of the Key Money brand.
Because of the Key Money brand. And I'm giving you that endorsement publicly that I do not buy any imported soaps anymore. And you know that because I'm always calling you. And my favorite is the lemongrass mixed with, I believe it's mixed with mint. Yes. That is the, but maybe I buy so much that you can't keep up sometimes. But let's look at the products that you would use to make your soap. Where do you get those from? Are they imported, or most of it are local stuff? Okay,
so as it relates to the butters and the alkaline that are used, because we don't produce them here, I do have to get them overseas. But as it relates to the other ingredients like turmeric, the majority of turmeric that I do get is from Dominica.
Got you. Okay.
And of course my neighbor is from Dominica, so she brought me back a ton load of turmeric. Thank you very much, as in turmeric powder. Of course I can use raw turmeric too, as in the fruit, but I prefer the powder. The cocoa is local, lemongrass is local, mint is local, mango is local. So the majority of, let's call them added products or added ingredients in the soaps are mostly found locally to the island of Nevis. And I have a thing where I prefer when I say local, it's not necessarily going to a supermarket and buying, because a lot of things that are sold in the supermarket are not local. They come from the States and they're sprayed with so many different things. They go through so many different things. I prefer to go to a farm and source my own products. I prefer to call my uncle and ask him, you got any papaya? You got any, you know, and get it from there. I prefer using a tomato that would have gotten bitten by a worm. Why? Because a worm won't bite a tomato that has lots of chemicals on it.
Gotcha.
So then I know it reduces all of that, because if you look at it, your skin is your biggest organ. So it is very important to understand what we put on our skin as well as putting into our body. And that is one thing that I pride myself on in my brand, is that what you eat is important, but also what you put on your skin is more important to me and to my brand.
So in terms of the skills that you have acquired, how did you acquire these skills? Meaning soap making, did you go to some training somewhere?
I actually studied for many years in the school of YouTube.
You're something else. Okay.
So I don't care what nobody
says. Also the school of hard knocks that teach you these things.
Yeah, but if seriously on YouTube they have many soap creators that you can learn from. No, soap making, I compare soap making to making cakes. It's a formula. Everyone has their different formula. Everyone does not have the same product. It might feel different, have different ingredients, and even though you learn the basis, it's a science where it's trial and error. You try and see what works best. So it took a lot of trying. Within that 8 years, it wasn't something that, as you said, came overnight. What oils works best? What butters works best? And even though you can go to the school of YouTube and learn the basics, at the end of the day, you'll have to sit down and understand exactly what you're doing. There's also Google, the library of Google, where you can make sure that you have the proper testing stuff to make sure that what you're doing is correct and things like that. So even though I went to the College of YouTube, there is still a lot that you needed to figure out by yourself.
Yeah. Okay. I recall some time ago, though, you may have been exposed to some training from the Taiwanese.
Correct. So a couple years ago, the Taiwanese had a program. It was a training program which doubled as a competition. I think there was over 40 females that participated in that workshop, and out of that 40, I think they chose 10 to award with a prize of, I think it was about $8,000. I was one of the 10 that was successful in that. Bringing forward with my business, the Money brand, I learned so much as it relates to business, the business part of it, pricing, labeling, and so much I've learned from. I think it was about 6 weeks. So I gained so much from that. So much opportunities were opened from that, and yeah, you know, and I was proud that I call the Money brand, that is my baby. That is mine. I have 3 children, but the Money brand is still my favorite.
Still your favorite,
So I was proud that I was able to succeed in that workshop and been able to receive the award for my business. But the training was very intense. I cried, especially as it relates to creating a business plan. So hats off to those persons that have a business that needed a business plan, because it was not just writing on a piece of paper. I had to get the help of my aunt, who has a doctorate in accounts, and trust me, she wasn't that easy in helping me. But, you know, I shed my tears, I put in the work, and at the end I was successful.
Well, congratulations on that. And I also want to, at least at this point in time, if you'll give me the chance to, thank the Taiwanese, the ambassador and the Taiwanese mission for their efforts here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, because sometimes persons would ask, well, what are they doing? You know, I don't see, I don't feel. But you're a living testimony of the effort that they have exerted over the years. And training is important, huh? Training is important because, of course, out of training, then you can develop a business, as you would have said. Your capacity is expanded, and you can build on that. But with respect to the Taiwanese mission that is here, I want to thank the ambassador, like I said, and all those who would have come before him, for continuing to train our people, because many other persons can speak just like you, who would have gone through various training that were undertaken by the Taiwanese mission, and they are living example of what can be had from such a relationship. At least there's training that has been had in healthcare, in agriculture, of course in business, as you have just expressed, and of course, as I mentioned last week, they would have provided seed money, so to speak, for small businesses to be established, whether you're female, whether you're male under 35. All those things have been established through our relationship with the Republic of China, Taiwan. So I will ask, have you ever benefited from any of those loans from SIDU that they would have, that they're offering at this point in time? I don't know what the capacity is at this point in terms of what monies they have left, but over the last couple of years, females of any age could have benefited once they meet the requirement, and also males 35 and under. So I'm just wondering if you were able to benefit from that in any way. I
was offered, but at this point of time, I haven't taken up that opportunity as well. As yet, I should say. So no, I know they are out there, and I know they're available for all women in business. So it doesn't matter what size business you have.
Right.
That money is available at SIDU, and I don't, it is not that difficult to get, especially if you're serious in business. I would say go and take a shot.
Yeah, and a business like yours, I mean, a lot of persons would go into the food business, for example, and we have quite a number of those established here on the island. But something like what you're doing, and there are other persons who are, doing similar type business, but not as many as who are in the food industry or sector, or however you want to call it. And that is why I believe that any monies that can be had to grow a business like yours, it should be taken advantage of. The question is whether you have the time to grow it.
That's a very good question. Good point, Carla. Having a business is not as easy as it might look on the outside.
Right.
It takes a lot of time. It is a child. That's the best way I could describe it. It is a child. And for me, my business, it does bring money to me, but I also have other things going on that at this point of time will not allow me to expand as yet. And it is an as yet, not saying that it will never happen, but right now in my life, I just need to take care of other things before I can make my child grow bigger. Sure,
and that is why I ask, because really and truly, when it comes to a business, you'd want to be exerting your effort 24/7.
Yes.
No one will put in the type of effort that you'll put in, the effort you'll put into your own business. No one will want to do that for you. But back to the soaps, I pulled up a list of these soaps that you are currently making. You may want to, let's say if you're good enough to tell us off the top of your head, all of the different types and flavors that you have.
If you have less than 30 days, I mean, you don't have all. But anyway, go ahead, give me the list.
No. I want to see you. I'm putting you to the test. It is your business, so speak loyally about your business, and speak loyally about the different types that you're offering. And I'm going to follow here on this list.
Oh, you want me to name them?
Yes.
Okay. So we have turmeric and lemon, turmeric and charcoal, rooted goddess, which is turmeric, ginger, and carrot. We have charcoal and mint. We have lemongrass and mint, lemongrass and rosemary. We have cocoa and oats. We have hot cocoa, which is the cocoa soap by itself. We also have the man spa, which is, I don't want to exclude anybody, and sometimes men come to me and say, oh, these are just for women. Okay, fine, if you want to think that Mr. Jeffers here uses my soaps and he doesn't use the man spa, but the man spa is scented with a scent that I call hard-working man.
Okay.
So it smells like a man that just a hard-working man. Okay, so I have just soap. I have aloe vera. I have sour aloe, which is lemon and aloe. I have matcha bentonite clay. I also have castor oil, and that is very local, as in the castor oil and the castor oil beans are local. You put me on a spot, boy. I must say, no, hold on. You ain't gonna get me today,
Okay.
I have mango.
Patient. Go ahead.
I have mango. I have ginger. I have. I done all the turmeric. I done all the charcoal. Done all the cocoa. I have oats by itself. Oats and turmeric. I don't know if I mentioned turmeric already. I have Nivision black soap. I have.
Simos.
I have Simos and sea salt. I have coconuts.
Soursop.
I have, oh yes, how can I forget soursop? I have soursop and cinnamon. Help me out.
Ginger, carrot.
Yeah, that's the rooted goddess. I don't mention that.
Okay.
Tell me what else. Help me out.
You said bentonite?
Yeah, bentonite, and I have matcha, correct.
Matcha, okay.
You see, you're far behind.
Oh, far behind, okay. Well,
Yeah, you see, you're
I
basically.
was listening slowly. You're talking fast. Okay. But the bottom line is you have approximately
Yes.
30 different,
30 different.
and that is phenomenal.
And not only that, now let's say I don't do neem and moringa. I think the market right now is flooded with that. However, if someone comes to me and asks for a specific type of soap,
Right.
I will ask them for time to research, and then I would be able to create that soap for them. If they have any allergies as it relates to the oils and butters that I use in my soap, they can swap out or say, I'm allergic to this, and I'll be able to assist them in using a different oil. So I am open to that. Of
Right.
course, I'm not going to be selling you a bar. You will have to buy the entire loaf because that will belong to you at this point of time.
Gotcha.
So I work with my customers. And yeah, so whatever you need, I'll be able to work with you as well.
During the Christmas season, I can recall you had a K-Money brand gift basket or box or something like that. I think you had that. I think it cost about $100. You had it in oil and... Is it something that is consistent throughout the year or just a seasonal thing?
It is, well, for certain seasons, again, I work with the customer. So if a customer needs certain things, I can assist. And let me add, also, it's not a part of my brand, but I do sell it. Now, my aunt who is from Nevis, she lives in the States now.
Right.
She has a candle brand that is called Real Glow. So I do supply her candles, which is a wickless candle. So this candle does not use any fire or flames. So, and it's not used with paraffin wax, which is kind of, let's quote unquote, unsafe. So it's used with a cocoa apricot wax, which is much safer and healthier for you to inhale. So I do supply those as well. So when I make my gift baskets, I have a part of my line. I don't know if I can say like Sex and Shimmer. And you know what? And that line was created simply to help to increase the population of Nevis. So I'm trying to encourage persons to, you understand, so that we can have more babies in the population. So I do baskets like that, which is adult-based baskets.
Gotcha.
Let's just put it that way.
Gotcha.
And it is not seasonal. It is whenever you want it. We don't want all our babies to be born in November. So we let babies be born other times of the years. So you could get your adult baskets at any time, okay?
If they're born in November, then you give them the gift box in February. Anyway, that's just the lighter side, yeah. But that's very good, very good. So in terms of, I know you normally would go to these food fairs or agro expo and so forth, and when you have these major functions, then you are there selling your items. Where else, or where consistently you can go and find the K-Money brand?
So the K-Money brand is exclusively sold at the Medical Center Pharmacy on Market Street. For those who don't know, some people might know it as the Poor Man Drugstore,
right?
Or Claxton's Pharmacy. It is on the island of Nevis. It is exclusively sold at the Medical Center Pharmacy, or you can contact me personally and make your order through me. But there's a good chance that I'll just send you to the Medical Center Pharmacy anyway. So it's either by the pharmacy or you can get them exclusively from me.
So I know you normally have some packages like 3 soaps for $20.
Correct.
So, Give us an idea.
So
pricing wise.
1 bar of soap is $10.
Okay.
I do offer a special. It was a special, like I would run it maybe twice a year, and I decided, you know what? Let's just keep the special going. Where instead of buying 1 soap for $10, you can just buy 3 for $20.
Okay.
And of course, that will work out better for you, especially in these times where you could buy locally handmade soap 3 for $20 at the Kemone brand medical center pharmacy. So, or you can also make a special order for a loaf. I'm not going to put the price on the ear, but if you contact me, you'll know the price. There's only one special soap that costs more than that $10, and it is the turmeric and kojic soap. And that is the only soap that is priced a little bit higher, which is $15 per bar or 3 for $40. But that's the only bar that is sold a little bit more expensive. Of course, you can also get your oils, like your coconut oils, your lavender and coconut oil, like mostly for rubbing, and your scrubs, you just name it. Anything that deals with skincare, check Medical Center Pharmacy and just ask for the Kemone brand.
Very good. So I usually get my lemongrass and mint for 3 for $20.
Correct.
And I say that on the
and it's not
aroma is nice.
Yeah, and it's not a special price for him. That's the price for everybody. Yeah, he ain't that special.
And I really wouldn't mind paying more, but 3 for $20 is really, in my opinion, is a phenomenal price. That's fine for me. And you have me as a customer. And the good thing about it, the product is consistent. You know, there are times persons would make things this time around it is one way and the next time around it's another way, but I feel the consistency, I smell the consistency, and everything about it is just consistent with what it should be in terms of from the start until even up until now. So that is a feather in your cap, so to speak, in terms of maintaining that consistency with your brand. Yeah. So basically what you have said to us this afternoon, that you are light manufacturer.
Yes.
Yeah. And all this is done where? From home,
Libert Hill, yes. And as it relates to that, as it relates to expanding, I am looking to expand the area that I use. That is all, because when things grow, one thing that I try to put out is that I don't want to ever tell a customer, oh, I don't have that product. Right. And because business is growing, I found myself doing that I need like a slap on my hand. That's not good. So I've realized that I do need more storage area in able to hold the quantities that I do need to hold. So again, that's something that I'm looking into.
Because of course you have raw materials that you'll have to order in from time to time, and then you have to produce, and then you have to stock that produce item.
And as it relates to equipment as well, because a lot of equipments are used in that process. So yeah.
Okay. Well, knowing you, you'll find a way.
I will.
You'll find a way, because I know you're not to be a people pleaser, but you're one who go about your business and do what you have to do.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the Kemone brand, and that is the entrepreneurial side of you. But there's the entertainment side as well. If we can just, we have some minutes left here, so we'll go into another side of you, because you're like a complete package, because you're into entertainment, meaning your cultural side, you're calypsonian, entertainer. And what is your calypsonian name again?
Lady Hammond.
You don't say that with any gusto at all. What happened to you? You're the one who name yourself, you know?
Actually, no, that is not true.
Okay.
I got the name from somebody from Brown Hill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
His name is Johnny. Hi, Johnny.
Oh, Johnny, yes, I know Johnny.
You know what Johnny does?
Yeah, well.
Okay, there we go.
Well, listen, we're not as discreet about this product anymore, because it's there on the market. It may not be legal to a large extent, but it's being produced and it's being sold. I remember when I was in government, there was talk about passing legislation to make Hammond legal. Yeah. And I would think that the NIA should still pursue that. I have no difficulty with it, because, of course, it is being consumed here on the island of Nevis in a large way. And, of course, there are other persons who would have taken that Hammond and added other things to it, different flavors and so forth, and that has made it a go-to drink, so to speak. So that is, I would love to see that become a major drink here on the island, one that is legal and one that is sold and persons, but it has to be controlled in terms of the necessary legislation will have to guide the process to ensure that it is done consistent with what other imported products are being done, right? So that's not a discussion for this afternoon. We'll leave that. But Lady Hammond, you've been around Calypso for how long?
Okay, so my son is going to be 20. Started when he was about 6. So how much years is that? 14?
14 years thereabout, going on 15. Okay.
So when you say around Calypso, let me just explain. Me saying Lady Hammond has been around for a little bit over 7 years. But I have been managing my son with an S. All of my sons in their Calypso junior life. Gotcha. So I've been around it since my eldest son was 6. That's when he entered the Calypso arena.
Right.
He exited at the age of 18. My second son tried. He didn't like it. And then my last son, he's now in it as well.
Okay.
So I've been doing it consistently for 14 years. As it relates to Lady Hammond, she has been doing it for a couple of years, on and off. She also did soca as well. But as it relates to Lady Hammond, I guess she's the alter ego of Monique Washington, where I refuse to sing any serious songs. I mean, like, life is so serious already, and we don't need anything else to make us feel, down and, like serious. No, I just want to go and sing. What they call it? I don't want to say it's not humor. What they call it? They have a name for it.
Witty?
Witty.
Calypso?
I am more of a witty Calypsonian, where when you sing my song or you hear my song, you got to bust out laugh.
I got you.
It has to be something that goes on Facebook or TikTok or something. But it's like we're trying to get away from the seriousness, because sometimes Calypso can get extremely serious.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So you write for yourself? Or
I do write for myself. I do write for my sons. Yes, I do all the writing. Yes.
Very good. And in terms of exploits, how far have you gotten to in the competition in terms of where?
As in me, Lady Hammond?
Lady Hammond. Because I see you turned from the possessive just now and you look like you're talking about somebody else. I bring it back to you.
She hasn't gotten that far, you know.
That's okay.
But listen, right? For Culture, I'm a 51. She might. But I'm not certain. We'll see. We'll see what she does. We'll see.
Well, for Culture, I'm a 51. Monique says it's going to get out of hand. Yeah? Okay. So we look forward to your contribution for Culture. I'm a 51.
If not 51, go 52. Okay, let's go.
Okay, well, whatever it is. But anyway, that's good. So that is Monique, the entertainer. What else about Monique? What else?
Of course,
you're tour guide as well.
I'm a tour guide.
You can speak to that.
And it is in all of my working life. It's not even like a job.
Right.
I call it, like Mackie Francis called, a jobby. It's like, you're having so much fun doing it that it has become, the most enjoyable part of my life. This is what I wake up every morning and I'm happy to put on my clothes and catch a bus and go to work. I love my job. I love going to work when it's time to go to work.
I hope your boss is hearing you and understanding.
I love my boss too. I have the bestest boss in the whole entire world. Ain't nobody gonna touch him. Ain't nobody gonna talk bad about him. So yes, please and thank you.
So if your boss is hearing you, your boss have to be pleased at this point in time to hear you speak glowingly about your work. And I see your interaction with the guests that you serve on not on a daily basis, but as often as there are persons to interact with. And I would say you're an ambassador then.
I guess so.
Not you guess so. You're an ambassador. I don't want to say whether you're telling the truth or not. I do believe you tell them the truth.
If they don't believe me, then they could Google it. If they don't believe, just write it down and say, I'm going to Google what she said. That's fine.
But you're ambassador for this island because, of course, once you're interacting with them, you're the one who is telling them about Nevis and telling them such thing to encourage them and entice them to come back.
And that is the whole thing, because the guests that I meet up with are just a couple of hours guests. They're not overnighting guests.
Right.
And one of the biggest aim, at least as it relates to me, is to get them to come back to the island, because they cannot experience the entire of Nevis in just a couple of hours. So my end goal as it relates to the guests that I do interact with is to come back to the island, experience the people, the culture, because right now it's just the sun, sea and sand for you for right now.
Right.
But there's much more to offer here on the islands of Nevis than just that. So
Nevis as a whole, though, in terms of selling Nevis, it's easy, right?
It is.
It's easy.
Once you know your product, then it becomes very easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what pleases my heart, though, is that when I listen to conversations that I'm not a part of, but just going about my business, and I listen to persons who are visiting the island and speak about the island of Nevis, when in truth and in fact, we who live here, we said the opposite for whatever reason. But I would want to go with the endorsement that is coming from those who come here. And some may say they only come for a day or two or a week, but they say first impression counts, because you never get a second chance to create a first impression.
Correct.
So if that is the impression on the first instant, I have to go on what they're saying or with what they're saying. And that is why it's important that the service you provide and the interaction that you go through on a daily basis is important. It goes a long way to sell the island, goes a long way in ensuring whoever interact with you come back. If one come back, that is good. If two come back, that is even better. If multiple amounts come back, then that's an excellent thing, and that is what we're seeking to do. And persons like you, as simple as it sounds, play a major part, because all of the dollars we spend, you could advertise on all of the major networks out there, CNN, NBC, wherever. It is what they get when they come here and who they interact with, and that experience.
Exactly.
Underline the word experience, the experience that they have when they come here.
And also how they felt, how you made them feel. Is
Exactly.
also
And that is all wrapped up in the experience that they'll have when they come. And that is why you're such an ambassador. You, and if I can mention your boss name, Randy Jeffers, who does a phenomenal job as well. You're working for one of the best bosses, you said, right?
He's the bestest.
The bestest.
He's the bestest. He is.
That is very good. And listen, it is all, you see, Nevis, when it comes to Nevis belongs to all of us.
Exactly.
And all of us have to play a major role at some point in time to ensure that this island is taken care of and is sold to the world. And when people come here, they're the world, because they're coming from far-flung places to Nevis, whether it's Germany, United States, Canada, wherever they're coming from. They're coming from a good distance to come to us. And once they come, we just have to do our best to make sure that they have the experience of their lifetime here.
Exactly.
And that is why I said from the get-go, I love you, because you listen, I look at you and your friend there, your other co-worker, Cookie. And I always buy the Cookie is the best, Cookie, I listened to him yesterday because I was up in Jessop's. There's another location up there that it seems like has just been added to your tour list. I went there for a little tour myself, and it's an impressive place in the making, and it's a place that Nevisians would want to seek out and find out about and go and visit and see what it's like, because we have some really phenomenal places here on the island of Nevis, but some of us don't take the time to go and find these places or go and experience these locations. For example, New River, some work was done there. New River Estate looks fantastic down there. Bath Springs, I spoke about that just recently. A lot of money was spent to upgrade those areas. Even over in Butlers at Eden Brown, places being kept clean. Some work need to be done, further work I should say need to be done there. And you look at all of the different plantations here on the island of Nevis. We have work to do, yes, but some work has been done to improve these sites so that our visitors can have a wonderful experience when they come. So all these things are what we are striving to do as a government and as a people. And so what you do is not to be looked at in isolation, but it's a part of an entire package that is being offered to our people, our visitors when they come to the island of Nevis. And kudos to you and all of you who are in that particular side of the industry, because you are ambassadors in a large way. And you can talk about the rental companies, you can talk about those tour guides, all of them. Everyone is playing a role to ensure that we can offer the best experience to our people. Well, Monique, I think we have about 7 minutes left, but let's see. So we looked at the entertainment side here, look at the Kimoni brand. Oh, some time ago you went into a competition, a drink, you're a mixologist, or what was it? I think it was back in 2024, April, thereabout.
Yes. 2024, it was the Culturama drink competition.
Okay.
Now, for those who don't know, I actually won the Culturama 40 drink competition with a drink called More Energy, which was basically, you're laughing, you see? What do you buy? I actually won that competition with a drink that was made from sorrel, mango, and hamon.
Ah.
So that was the Culturama 40 drink competition. I won that. So I wanted to not enter, but to judge
Right.
the Culturama 50. And they were like, we already have judges, so you just need to enter.
Uh-huh.
So they had that drink competition, and they also had a Carib portion where you needed to make a drink with Carib, create a drink
Right.
with Carib. Now, me and my best friend, we used to drink a lot of Carib and create our own drink, and I used our drink in that competition, and our drink won that competition.
Got you.
So I did not win the Culturama 50 drink competition. It was won by somebody else, but I was able to win the Carib portion
Gotcha.
of that drink competition. Did I enter? I also entered after the Culturama 40. I also entered a second competition right after that, which I placed right behind Miss Kendi from Four Seasons. So she won, and I came second to her. And then, of course, this competition that was held last year. I do like, I mean, it's a creative part, and it's using one of my favorite things in the whole entire world.
Hamon.
Not hamon, but like, yes, that liquid substance that gives you liquid courage. Yes, please.
So I suppose that perhaps somewhere in the making or in the future to come, perhaps bottled drinks might be a part of the whole Kimoni brand. Then it could possibly be.
You could probably go with the Sex and Shimmer line to help create children.
Yeah. Well, you say, well.
That's an idea. I like that.
Okay. Well. We'll talk offline. Okay, very good. So yes, Monique. Okay, so we're gonna go in the wrap-up phase now because we don't want to go beyond our time this afternoon. But of course, if you want to just impart any final words.
Just thank you for having me and having this discussion with me. I really do appreciate it. And once again, if anybody is looking for any products on the Kimoni brand, Medical Center Pharmacy on Market Street. And once again, thank you again for having me here and speaking with you.
Okay, so we've been talking to Monique Washington this afternoon, and we spoke about our natural soap and personal care products. And this is the Money brand. Money brand is a holistic approach to skincare and the natural side of skincare, that is. And so she would have laid out to you what she is producing, or the products that she currently produces. And indeed, I want you all to patronize her products, as I am doing. As I said before, my favorite is the lemongrass and mint flavored soap. And you get those 3 for $20, and that is a good bargain for me, and that is why I continue to buy them, and that is why you see my skin glowing on the cameras right now. Well, somebody differ, but that's okay. I know for sure what I feel, and I feel good about patronizing you and buying your products, of course. So that's it for us with Monique this afternoon. Monique, thank you very much for coming on this afternoon with me. And you're such a natural. You were flowing without even a note in front of you, which means that you have everything documented right in your brain. And that is a good thing. You know what you're doing and you know what you're saying. Fantastic. Okay, so let me just remind the general public about our event that is to come on the 9th of June. That is the Butlers and Brickhill communities putting on that medical fundraiser over there on the main street there in Brickhill. And of course, we have quite a bit of entertainment available to you. The flyers are out, so if you go on Facebook, on my Facebook page, it's there. And I have other persons who have been putting that flyer out on their status and on their Facebook page as well. So that will be a wonderful holiday to spend over there in Brickhill all day and into the night, because we have music and entertainment all throughout. Yeah, okay. And if, for example, you're in and around Charlestown, there's an event taking place down there at the Bath Hot Springs, and of course just across the street there, the Villa, the Charlestown Secondary School is having a fair as well. And tomorrow, of course, there's this big heritage cultural event down there at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park that is put on by the Department of Cultural Development or Community Affairs, I believe it is. But show up at the Malcolm Gishard Park tomorrow for that event. All of the different countries and islands will be represented there. These are persons who live among us who want to put their culture on display, whether it's dance, clothing, food, whatever it is, they want to display their culture from their various country and islands. So go down and participate in that as well. So I believe my time is up. It's just about 2 o'clock, so at that time I have to go. And as I always say when I leave the program, if you go to church on a Saturday, well, go out and go to church tomorrow and serve your God. If you go to church on a Sunday, do likewise. And of course, I want to close by saying this is something that I would want to always keep in the forefront of my mind. And I said it to you from the get-go, Monique, that the truth does not have an expiration date attached to it. The truth is the truth, and it will always remain the truth. Yeah? And you agree with that?
I totally do.
Amen. So say a prayer for me tomorrow. Say a prayer for this station. Say a prayer for the island of Nevis and the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We do need prayer. And I thank you in advance, and may God continue to bless us all. Have a wonderful weekend, a safe one, and I say at this point in time, goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program